Hello and welcome to another edition of UFO Video Addicts. Let me give you a preview of what I got coming up in this video. The first two were actually submitted in the comments. We got this one here that shows what appears to be an alien skull. This one was also submitted by someone in the comments about Dr. Tom Van Flanderen, who was the astronomer at the U.S. Naval Observatory, I think it was. But in these videos, he talks about the face on Mars and other strange structures that he found up there. Also have this video of what appears to be a flying humanoid in Phoenix, Arizona in 2018. And this video is from 2020, and it shows what appears to be an alien craft docking with the International Space Station. And let's see, this video is some guy who thinks he found a UFO crash site. I'm not too sure where this is, though. Yeah, and I'm not too sure where this is. Anyways, we'll check that out. Also have this video from the 1960s. This is a little short documentary about a scientist talking about all the UFO sightings that have happened since the late 1940s. So, this idea that our government doesn't know about it, or where they're coming from, and the UFO hearings that's just a dog and pony show. I don't understand why people keep getting duped into watching those things. But anyways, we'll take a look at that. Also have this little clip here this is from the UFO hearings, and like I said, I didn't watch it because I'm not like Charlie Brown thinking that Lucy's going to finally hold the football. They're not going to tell you anything. And this is something that I didn't find. I mean, I found this video clip, but someone else, found this clip and posted it to Reddit. So I think it's very interesting what this little short 26-second clip shows. So we'll look at that. Also have this graphic here about all of the sightings that have happened since 1910 to 2014. Right, 80,000 unidentified flying objects, and then I'm sure not all of them were UFOs, but it also shows you all the different shapes of crafts and the number of times. And I've said this before. The reason why there's so many different shapes is because I think there are several. There's multiple advanced civilizations that share the planet with us, and and we're just seeing their crafts. And last is this video by Brian Forrester, where he talks about all of these elongated skulls and other different shaped skulls that have been found throughout the planet. And, I find it interesting that most academic journals do not ever mention these. And yet, we find them all over the planet. And not just these, but, other skulls of strange shaped skulls too. But anyways, let's check out this first video here. Now, this was submitted by Wade in the comments. And, this is a story about smuggling. And they're showing you all of the different items that were smuggled. And, they're showing you these shrunken heads. And they try to just pass this one here off as another shrunken head. But, yeah, I agree with Wade that I don't think this is a human head. But let me just play a little bit of this clip so you see, what I'm talking about.
Smuggling ring in Turkey turned up some head-scratching artifacts. 4 real shrunken human heads were among the recovered items. An archaeology expert says they appear to be from the Habaro tribe of South America.
Let me just stop that right there. Yeah, they just kind of like gloss over this like it's nothing, but this is not the same as this. Yeah, these are shrunken human heads. I don't think this is the same. Something that I do when I people watch, I'm not looking at what a person's wearing. I'm not looking at their shoes. I'm not looking at labels or jewelry. I look at the shape of a person's skull and their ears. That's what I look at. But anyways, link to this will be in the description. This is another video that was submitted by someone in the comments, and this is about Dr. Tom Van Flanderen. And it doesn't show it here, but I think he was the astronomer at the Naval Observatory for a while. And in this video, he talks about how they analyzed this footage, put it through some AI, and actually determined that yes, it is a face, because the original photo was taken at a weird angle, and the shadows that it created, so it was kind of distorted. And actually, this is part two, and something else near the end I want to point out that he talks about. Yeah, these shapes here. Now these are found on Mars. He doesn't think this was created by a meteor impact because these edges are just way too defined. And then there are some other strange artifacts that he found right here. Looks like there's a dome inside of a crater, and this structure here is just has too many geometric shapes to it. And then there's something else. So yeah, right here. Yeah, check this out. This giant T cross in this cavern here. There's just no way that this is created by nature. But anyways, a link to these will be in the description. Let's go to this one here. Yeah, this is about some flying humanoid. This is from 2018. This was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Drifting in the sky. The object appeared so unusual that the witness was forced to stop biking, dismount, and film the object. What caught the witness's attention at first was the size of the mysterious UFO. It appeared to be a large, heavy, and solid object, shaped like an upright cylinder with appendages dangling from the lower end. The UFO drifted in the sky in an easterly course, losing altitude as it drifted along. The witness observed the mysterious UFO for about a minute, during which he snapped a photo and shot a 15-second video. Then he...
Let me just stop that right there. Yeah, there's no head on this thing. And interesting that it was just drifting. And something like this isn't the first time this has been filmed. Anyways, link to this will be in the description. Got a lot of videos to go through today. Let's go to this one here. Yeah, now this was from 2020. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this video here before too, but you can see what appears to be some kind of strange craft that they're saying docked with the space station. So let me just back this up a little.
The ISS transmitted strange footage of a yellow-green UFO docked with the hull of the ISS. Since anyone can freely watch the transmitted content on Ustream, the bizarre event was spotted by a UFO hunter who immediately posted this on YouTube. The video posted by the user StreetCap1 on January 29, 2014, reveals how a presumed UFO docked to the ISS for 2 minutes before the live feed goes into blue screen mode. It appears that NASA deliberately terminated the signal once they realized what they were revealing.
Let me just stop that right there. They're not going to show any more of this, but let me go back to this thing. Yeah, look at that craft. They said it's like 10 meters or 30 feet long. Very interesting. Anyways, link to that will be in the description. Let's go to this one here. Now, this is a short video, so I'm just going to go ahead and play the whole thing. But this guy thinks that he found a UFO crash site, and I'm going to kind of have to agree with him.
Something's definitely crashed here. Look at this. Weird. Massive gap in the ocean, in the woods. All the trees bent.
Yeah, that's very strange. Now, if this would have been a tornado, right, these trees would be more gone and uplifted and things like that. There's something definitely went through here, but the question is, where is it? Yeah, this didn't happen by chance, or I don't think the wind did that. And anyways, a link will be in the description. Now, this one here is a documentary from the 1960s, but in it, they talk about how there have been sightings since at least 1947. And so, this idea that our government, I'm sure there are people within our government, everything is compartmentalized, but for sure, people within the CIA have been withholding this information from us. But anyways, let me just play a little bit of this.
Saying who saw UFOs just this last year all across the United States. Dr. James McDonald, professor of atmospheric physics at the University of Arizona, is one scientist who believes them. In the midst of much professional disbelief, he is a respected scientist who feels the time has come to take a good hard look at the evidence, especially now with the United States experiencing the biggest rash of sightings since the first UFOs were seen back in 1947.
As a scientist, I regard it as extremely urgent because here is a really unusual problem that is going unattended by the scientific community throughout the world. Apparently, the situation is no different in England, Russia. I've been in Australia recently, and I think it's scientifically, almost scandalous that we're ignoring this long-standing problem in the way that we in the scientific community have ignored it.
Yeah, the reason why they're ignoring it is because they've been bullied and brainwashed and coerced into ignoring it, which also, goes to, I think, reinforce the idea that science is dogmatic. Science is sort of like a religion, because if a scientist did want to study this legitimate, phenomenon, they would be ridiculed, or they would have funding taken away if they were doing any other type of research, right? So, yeah, all the other scientists just fell in line. And I guess, I can understand, like, you had to, but it's a real shame that not enough scientists, had the balls or the backbone to stand up to some of these other bullies and push back. And again, what's also interesting is the number of scientists today at this point who still resist and who still try and insist that none of this is real, or no one knows what it is. But anyways, link to this will be in the description. Okay, now this clip here, it's a very short clip. It's only 26 seconds long, and this proves why I did not watch any of this stuff. And I want to point out, I found this, but someone else posted this clip to Reddit, right? So they're also very aware of what's going on. But let me just play this real quick. Let me turn this up a little.
It's now been examined by you.
The UAP task force doesn't have any wreckage that isn't explainable, that isn't consistent with being of terrestrial origin.
Do we have any sensors underwater to detect on submerged UAPs? Anything that is in the ocean or in the seas?
So I think that would be more appropriately addressed in closed session, sir.
Okay.
Closed session. Did you hear what he just said? Okay, this guy here just asked whether we have sensors that are detecting USOs, underwater UFOs. And when they went to the military guy, again, who's supposed to be there, to answer questions, as well, we're going to do that in closed sessions, right? So they don't want to talk about the underwater UFOs. And I think that's because that's the big secret, right? There's so many things the ruling class or the establishment lies to us about. And this is one of those things. They do not want to talk about our underwater neighbors. But anyways, link to that will be in the description. Now, this little graphic here shows you, the number of sightings that we've been having. An analysis of the National UFO Reporting Center's database of over 80,000 unidentified flying object reports dating between 1910 and 2014 in the United States and Canada. And remember, we also know that the CIA has that document where, they went through all the ancient texts going back 2,000 years, that were written in Greek, written in Latin, where, people were seeing strange lighted, luminous objects in the sky. But look at the number of sightings. Again, a lot's on the coast. Many on the coast. And again, I've said, the reason why we have so many different shapes is, some are obviously visitors, no doubt. Some are U.S. military. Some are the breakaway civilizations. But I think many of these are the multiple species that share the planet with us. And I think this planet is big enough where these species don't even interact with each other because there's enough space. And I'm sure they all know that, that they exist, but they don't have to interact with each other. There are some in the deep oceans, deep earth caverns, and, who knows where else. Now, let's go to this last video by Brian Forrester, where he talks about all of these elongated skulls that have been found all over the planet. And he even goes, through where they emigrated from. He thinks Iran. So, my belief is, that this was an extraterrestrial species that landed here, and they landed in Iran. And then for whatever reason, yeah, I think here he talks about how, yeah, they moved from Iran and, you know, supposedly ended up in the that region around Peru. But, you know, he also talks about how I think, yeah, that there are differences, you know, that he talks about that they, for sure they were cultures that did the skull binding. And he mentions how, you know, that there's a distinction between the people who had skull binding and, you know, I mean, what I determined to be Homo capensis. He talks about the Furna Magnum. Let's see if I can find where that is. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the Furna Magnum, you know, this is where the spinal cord goes into the skull. On the elongated heads, it's in a different area because the balance, or the center of balance for, you know, a species with an elongated skull is different than a Homo sapien shaped skull. But, you know, in the past, all of the elongated heads were generally considered the leaders, the kings and queens. You know, they were always the rulers, and I believe that they never stopped. I think their descendants are still running the planet. They're still in charge. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, look at this image here, right? This is Jacob Rothschild. I'm sure if anyone, you know, is familiar with the Rothschild name, right? They're one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest families on the planet. And they've been in charge, you know, for the banking industry for as long as we've been keeping track of history. And look at here, Shimon Peres. He was the prime minister of Israel. I think he was assassinated, but, you know, look at his head compared to this, you know, this normal person, they're saying, random person, normal head shape. But I think if you were to have an opportunity to surround yourself or, you know, interact with some of the wealthiest, most powerful people on the planet, I think you're going to come across a lot of people with this shaped skull. And here, you know, you can even see this guy here. This is guy's Michael Cole. You know, I'm sure he probably follows the royals, but, you know, and I'm sure he comes from a wealthy family, you know, because he probably reports on the wealthy. But let me just show you something real quick. So let me go back to, oh yeah, so look at these guys. That's, you know, normal head, and look at his head. Yeah, that's definitely not like, you know, a bouffant hairstyle. He has an elongated skull. So, you know, they don't even have to try and hide it. It's just that either people are afraid or, you know, they don't want to mention it. I think as humans, we fall prey to the emperor wears no clothes syndrome, where people are afraid to speak out for whatever reason. But yeah, you know, we're not all the same species on this planet. I mean, for sure, you know, most of us are all a combination. But yeah, it's not all just Homo sapiens on this planet. It never has been. There's always been multiple hominid species existing at the same time. Again, at least on the surface of the planet. You know, this doesn't go into all of the multiple, like, different species, you know, that share the planet with us. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like this. Take care.